Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you, Manju, for your response. So let's go ahead with our lecture. And today, yeah, we will continue. Let me double check. Okay. First of all, I will do the prayer for this lesson, this lecture. Let's sit upright, place our palms together, and concentrate on the prayer below. We take refuge with our Master. We take refuge with our kind mentor, Benny. We take refuge with Shakyamuni Buddha. We take refuge with all the triple jewel of the 10 directions and the 3 periods of time, roots for opening your future, and surpassed profound and wonderful Dharma in hundreds of millions of years is difficult to encounter. We now see and hear it, receive and uphold it, and without to fathom the Tathagata's true meaning, and without to practice the Tathagata's true way, and without to attain the Tathagata's true state. We vow that we can spontaneously express the Buddha's understanding, Buddha's view, Buddha's wisdom, Buddha's merit and virtue, Buddha's capability, and Buddha's state through our action, speech, and thoughts. We also vow that all the living beings can enter into the Buddha's understanding, Buddha's view, Buddha's wisdom, Buddha's merit and virtue, Buddha's capability, and Buddha's state all into us. So that's the prayer for this lecture. Let's go ahead with the review, okay? Yesterday we learned this sentence and about the ego construct. What is ego construct in your mind? Have you remembered it? Okay, let's go. Let's go for it with a warm-up by the video.
The ego construct of doing as opposed to human being. The ego construct wants more money, more power, more love, more of everything. The ego construct wants more money, more power, more love, more of everything. The ego construct wants more money, more power, more love, more of everything.
Yeah, who would like to try to recite it? Yeah, first of all, virtue, you please.
Good morning, teacher.
Good morning, virtue.
I would like to recite.
Yes, please.
The ego construct wants more money, more power, more love, more of everything.
Wow, yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, virtue. You are so excellent. Yeah, and next one is Daisy, you please.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Daisy.
The ego construct wants more money, more power, more love, more of everything. Okay, thank you.
Yes, incorrect. Yeah, correct. Perfect. Thank you so much, Daisy. Okay, I will do it. The ego construct wants more money. Oh, the ego construct wants more money, more power, more love, more of everything. Yes, that's it. And here we need to keep more of everything, this phrase in mind, okay? And the ego construct is nothing but fixation, nothing but desire, craving. Okay. So let's go ahead with the truth. What is the truth about the spirituality? Have you remembered several sentences ago, maybe this sentence? Spirituality in its most common form is no different than the pathological thinking that is going on everywhere. Now this sentence we are going to learn is about spiritual, those on the so-called spiritual path. It means spirituality. The people is doing spirituality. What are they doing? Okay, let's go for it with the video. Okay, this sentence, I think it's sentence 17 now. Okay.
Construct wants more money, more power, more love, more of everything. Construct wants more money, more power, more love, more of everything. Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened. Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened. Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
More enlightened. Yeah, they didn't. He didn't pronounce ten. More enlightened. Okay. Okay, and who would like to help me to find out the phonetic syllable about this one? I mean that I cannot check it out how to pronounce this word. Who would like to help? Okay. Help me to find the phonetic symbol. Do you know phonetic symbol? I don't know how to pronounce this word in a right way. In my dictionary, there is no this word. So I would like to ask you how to pronounce this word. Yeah, just this word in the dictionary. Equanimity. Equanimity. So how about the adjective? Adjective is, yeah, maybe this one. I'm not sure. Is numerous. I'm not sure.
Equanimity.
Equanimity. And what about this one? There is no sound. Equanimous. Equanimous. Okay, I think this one is better. Yeah, equanimous or equanimous. Both of them are okay. Thank you, Daisy, for your help. Yeah, I cannot find it out. Sorry. Okay, here it is. Equanimous. Equanimous. Oh, equanimous. Both of them. Okay. I will use one. Equanimous. 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 So what's the meaning in your dictionary, Daisy? Here, equanimity means a calm state of mind, which means that you do not become anger or upset, especially in difficult situations. I think it means calm. 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 Okay, calm. Yeah, calm, peaceful. I think it is, yeah, especially, yeah, we can refer to this one. Calm state of mind, which means you do not become anger or upset, not become anger or upset, especially in difficult situations. I think we can use this paraphrasing together, okay? Not anger. You equanimous. Equanimous. Yeah, equanimous. 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 Okay. Thank you for waiting. All right. This is the equanimous. Let's go ahead with the with this new word first. Okay. First of all, those on the path called on the so-called path. So so-called is very interesting, and it is useful in our daily life. So-called spiritual path designed to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened. Here, peaceful and enlightened, I think we learned it, we've learned before, previously. Now let's go ahead with the so-called. What does it mean? So-called. It means used to show that you do not think that the word or phrase that is being used to describe something is appropriate. And in the oral English means, yeah, more or less, such kind of, a kind of. Used to show that you do not think that the word or phrase that is being used to describe something is appropriate. Not the description. The description is not so exact, so it's not so precise. In that situation, you can use so-called. Okay, so-called. So-called. Yeah, called. There is a L. So-called. And then spiritual, spiritual path. Spiritual, yeah, we've learned before. Spiritual, it means connected with religion. Yeah, it is also here means religious path. Religious path. Spiritual path, also religious path. And then these are two more spiritual, more awake. Awake, what does it mean? Awake, not before, none, not asleep. And it means you are awake. It means you are not so sleepy, and you are clear. You are clear. Your mind is clear. So, and do you know, not before, none? What does it mean? Actually, awake works as a adjective. Double check. Here it is. Awake. and is a verb awake, wake up, awake, and then an adjective. What does it mean? Not before none. Not before none. Who knows? What does it mean? Not before none. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Daisy, for the expression. Okay. Now let's focus on the awake, not before none. Yeah, some words, are adjective, right? Adjective. Add. Adjective. Adjective.
Adjective.
Adjective. Some adjectives are not before none. Do you know? Do you know the point? Not before none words such as awake, asleep, alike. I don't know. If you know, just tell me. And this was adjectives. These adjectives are used not before none, but after be. Do you know? Used after be. After be. So to describe some states, not before none. I need use Chinese to describe it. 这些单词都是表语，都是表语的单词，都是做表语的，它不能做定语。定语的话，就是定语，它是可以用作，就是定语的形容词，它是可以用作定语的形容词，它是可以用作修饰语啊，它是能够用在名词前面的，就是形容词放在名词前面是一个很正常的位置。但是这种以 A 开头的这种 adjective， 它是作为表语，它只能用在be 动词后面。Yeah, I'm sorry, I cannot express myself in English in the grammar point. 所以它只能用在 be 动词后面，不能用在名词前面。表示比如说一个清醒的人，他不能写 awake people， 只能表示 this people is awake， 只是用一个句子来表达它。它是属于定语，它只能作为表语啊，这个词只能作为表语。OK， awake, asleep， 类似于这些，它只能作为，还有好多以 开头的，暂时我一下子举不出来的。awake, asleep， 类似于这些，它只能作为表语，只能是作为表语放在 be 动词后面，它不能作为形容词它不能作为定语的那种形容词放在名词前面去修饰形容名词。So that's the point, not before none. So that's the point. Okay, let's go ahead with our English. Okay. And then equanimous. Yeah, thank you, Daisy, for your help. And I will copy it from having or shown equality, even tempered. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's a meaning. Having calm and not become angry or upset, especially in difficult situations, and often having shown having assumed equanimity. Yeah, this word, I think we can check it in the dictionary. So what does it mean?
Equanimity.
Equanimity. Equanimity. Okay. Show equanimity. Even-tempered. Even it means not go down and go up. Your temper is not go down, go up. Very calm. Yeah, calm down, calm. Even-tempered. Okay. Equanimity. I will. Equanimity. Okay. Equanimity here. So, who would like to try to read these words, please? To pronounce them for us. A bit difficult, especially this one. Equanimous. Okay, Daisy, you first. Translate us, please.
Okay. So-called spiritual. Yeah, this was, I think, maybe so-called, right? So-called.
Yeah, the stress is here, the second syllable. So-called.
Okay,
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Let's go ahead.
Awake. Equanimous.
Perfect. Yeah, equanimous. And also this word here.
Equanimity.
Yes, perfect. You did so well. Equanimity. Thank you so much, Daisy. And who would like to try more? Yeah, virtue, you please.
Hello, teacher.
Hi. Good morning.
So-called. Spiritual.
Okay.
Awake. Equanimous.
Yes. Equanimous. Okay, 这个
Equanimity.
Yes, perfect. Equanimity. Yes.
Thank you.
You did so well. Yes, thank you so much. Yes. Grace, good morning.
Morning, Edie. Sorry.
Good morning. Yes, please pronounce these new words for us.
Yeah. Okay. So cold. Spiritual. Awake. Equanimous. Equanimity. Yeah, all right.
And the last word here, I think we need to
Equanimity.
Yeah, here's equanimous, and here the equanimity.
Equanimity.
Yes, this is on the knee. Yeah.
Equanimity.
Perfect noun. Yeah, I think so. Equanimity. Let's double check.
Equanimity.
Equanimous. Equanimity. Okay.
Yes, all right.
Equanimous. 梅花。
Equanimous.
Yeah, equanimous. Equanimity. Yeah, equanimity.
Equanimity.
Yes, perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you, Grace. So, yeah, let's go ahead with this sentence. This sentence, I think we need to go back to the paragraph. You have seen that, and the ego construct wants more money, more power, more love, more of everything, and also these kinds of guys, these kind of people, the people who on the spiritual path desire. Yeah, they are in a comparison, right? Comparison. Do you think so? These two sentences. The ego construct wants more money, more power, more love, more of everything. And here, today's sentence is about those on the so-called spiritual path. This kind of people, they are seeking for the spiritual spirit, yeah, spirit, religion, and spirituality. Those people desire also means wants. Desire to be what? Yeah, also desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened. Yeah, they are in comparison, very comparable, right? Okay. Actually, they're the same because they said spirituality is most common form. It's no different than pathologic thinking that is going on everywhere. Actually, they're the same. So they are in comparison. Okay, let's go ahead with this lecture. Ask the video for help.
Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened. Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened. Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
Peaceful, enlightened. I didn't hide it out. I think we can comprehend it. And then so-called.
So-called.
Oh.
So-called. So-called. So-called.
Yeah, there is a bit different from so-called and so-called. Actually, they're the same, but the intonation is different. And here, the speaker, the speaker said so-called, so-called.
Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened. Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened. Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
Yeah, that's all. And from the sentence, we can learn so-called, this new word, spiritual. And if you would like to do the translation between Chinese and English, or between other language to English, translate other language to English, and you can use a spiritual or really religious path, and then you can use these words to describe some something, yes, something or some state related to religion, related to Buddha Dharma, okay, such as spiritual, awake, unanimous, equanimous, sorry, equanimous, equanimous, peaceful, enlightened. All of them are the adjects about a state, a good state, a peace. Yeah, to describe the in your mind is in peace, and your mind and your temper is even, such as this. So they are useful words. They are useful words. And for the grammar point, there is just one on the so-called spiritual path. This phrase led by proposition on is a propositional phrase. And to describe those, so here we can use this kind of mark. I'm not sure how to say in Chinese, in English. This one, those. Okay, maybe in change. Those on the so-called spiritual path designed to be so-called paths. We can use this one. Actually, they work as a ADJ. Do you know ADJ? Adjective to describe those. So this is the only grammar point we need to be clear. And sometimes we use those, and those is a pronoun, and we cannot, those refers to who. So in that case, we need a phrase, we need to, or relative clause to describe such kind of those, okay? Those who, those, yeah, and then those, which kind of people, those, the people on the so-called spiritual path, that kind of people means those desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more, yeah. I think they are the same way, they're in the same way. So on the so-called spiritual path works as a phrase to describe those. Without them, we are not clear about those, which kind of people called those. Okay? So this is the only grammar point, and we need to grasp all the words in equanimous, peaceful, enlightened, spiritual, and awake. Let's go to the shadow and keep them in mind, okay?
Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
And for this time, we can highlight the stressed words, okay?
Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened. Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
Yeah, those I think we need to highlight it, because there is a phrase to describe them, so those need to be highlighted. On the so-called spiritual path, all of them have the meanings, so we need to highlight them. Desire to be more and more, okay? So all of them I need to be stressed, and we need to read it slowly to highlight them, okay? To emphasize the pronunciation slowly. because you use the slow speed. This is a way to stress, a way to highlight something. Slow speed is a good way to highlight something. Okay, we will follow it. Follow the rhythm. Rhythm. You know rhythm? It means tempo.
Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
Yeah, who would like to follow it, please? In brackets. Okay, this means in brackets. Yeah, we use the brackets. Yeah, to put them in brackets. Okay, this one because this phrase works as an ADJ to describe those. Okay, Daisy, you please. I will play it again.
Okay, thank you.
Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
You please.
Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
Yes, one more time, please.
Okay. Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
Yes, perfect. Thank you, Daisy. Thank you. And then Virtue, it's your time now. Hello, Virtue.
Hello. Hello, teacher.
I will replay it for you, okay? Follow it.
Thank you.
Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
Yes, you please, Virtue.
Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
That's correct, especially more. Yeah, we use the more, the intonation of more, such as the go down, go down. Yeah, go down intonation. You did it so well.
Thank you.
More peaceful, more awake. Yeah, you did so well. Thank you so much. And repeat it, please, one more time. Hey, Virtue, would you like to
Hello.
read it again?
Okay. Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
That's correct. Yeah, enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
then Grace. Hello, Grace. Good morning.
Hello, Winnie.
Yeah,
Yes.
I will play it for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
Yes, Grace, you please.
Yes. Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
Yeah, more enlightened. That's correct. One more time.
Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
Wow, genius. That's correct. I think so. I really agree. Your intonation. Agree with you in the intonation. Yeah, more. Yeah, go down. Okay? Let's double check.
Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
Okay, yes. I will follow you, all of you. Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened, more enlightened. Okay. And I didn't hear his enlightened. I'm not sure how to, yeah, in this way. Interesting. So, anybody wants to recite it? Who would like to try to recite them? Yeah, Daisy, you're really good at recitation. Have a good memory. You please.
Spirit of no. Those on the what?
所谓
Okay. Those on the so-called path,
yeah.
right? Those
Yes.
those on the so-called path desire to be more.
Would you like to listen to the video again?
Yes.
Okay, video, just video, okay.
Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
Okay.
Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
Yes, try again, please.
Okay. Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake,
More awake, yeah.
and more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
Yes, congrats, you did it. Thank you so much, Daisy.
Let me try again.
Sure, definitely. Please.
Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so fluently this time. Thank you so much, Daisy. And then Grace. Hello, Grace. Your time to recite.
Yeah, okay. I recite
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Those on the circle's spiritual path designed to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened. Yes.
Genius. One more time. Yeah, once again, please.
Yes, thank you. Those on the circle's spiritual path designed to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened. Yes.
Yes, bingo. Yeah, you are amazing. Thank you, Grace. Yeah, excellent. And then, Virtue, it's your time. Hello, Virtue.
Hello. Okay.
Would you like to,
recite?
Yeah,
like
read
to
it
recite.
from memory. Yeah, recite it, please.
Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened.
Yes, yeah, the intonation is so great. Yeah, that's it. More. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, Virtue.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I will follow you to recite it. Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equivalent. More equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened. One more time. Those on the so-called spiritual path desire to be more spiritual, more awake, more equanimous, more peaceful, more enlightened. Okay, enlightened. So that's it. Is it right? So I think today's point is the five adjectives we need to keep in mind. Okay, they are useful in the Buddha Dharma. The expression is very useful in Buddha Dharma, so we need to keep them in mind. Can you see it clearly? They are ADJ. They are ADJ. The 5 ADJ. Adjectives. ADJ. So we need to keep them in mind. Spiritual, awake, equanimous, peaceful, enlightened. And we especially we need to focus on the equanimous, and its name is equanimity, and this word is always in the religion, in the Buddha Dharma, and I've seen some paragraphs, essays, papers on Buddha Dharma, and they always use equanimity. So that's the point. That's all for today. Thank you for being with me all the time. And time to say have a nice weekend, right? Have a nice weekend then.